All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rikakwadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Like to say shalom to those pushing the word in diligence, and to all the believers, we say shalom. This lesson is entitled, They Shall Be Found to Be Liars. Hashtag Christianity.
So much, And as you know, we recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of great Christian populations. They have a great Christian population. They were being butchered. Thousands and thousands of people were being killed. Children, women, old people, just being slaughtered, hatched to death. They know that if they go further, the attack will be far greater, and that they don't want to really get involved anymore so much. We hit them very hard. We knocked out their leader. We knocked out their second leader and their third leader. Sounds a little bit like Iran, actually. That's all about a different cause that we have to do, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Can't let it happen. So I'm saving Christians throughout the world, even though we are not in those various countries where you read about this. But they'd like to make our country just like those countries. That's where they started. They started right where we are right now. But I'm saving them by hitting these terrorists very violently and very hard. We're hitting them very hard by the greatest weapons on earth, taking them out. We know where they are. We hunt them down and we take them out. Think of it, they go into a village and they just kill everybody. It's like crazy. They will close your churches in this country. They go communist, and they're trying to. They will kill your people, and that's what they're about. They want to end religion. As you know, we recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of great Christian populations. They have a great Christian population.
So you heard that, right? Okay.
There has never been a Christian nation. There has never been a Christian nation. You don't live in one now. We had godly people get on boats and come over here so they could worship. Godly people. We've had the greatest Bible preachers in the 15, 16, 1700s. Godly people. Some of the people that constructed this country, godly people. But it has never been a Christian nation, and never will be. A Christian nation would never have killed and displaced 20 million Native Americans who are still left out and living in poverty. A Christian nation would never have thought that owning slaves was pleasing to God, or that it lined up with Scripture in any way, shape, or size. And we not only practiced it, but we were so obsessed with it that we went to war about it. We had a civil war. And in that civil war, 500,000 Americans died. That's more than Americans that died in World War II or any other war we've ever had. Our own Civil War. We killed 500,000 of our own people so people could have the right to own other people as property. There has never been a Christian nation.
So you hear that? And that is correct. There has never been a Christian nation. But you heard Trump say that he saved the Christians, okay, over there in Nigeria. So let's get into it. We'll just go straight to the point. Micah 2:1. This explains why they went over to Nigeria, okay? That's just an excuse, but this is the MO of Esau, Edom, and the Edomites. It's all in the Bible. Micah 2 and verses 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, because you heard it from the pastor, okay? They have never been a Christian nation. It's always been about conquering and taking resources, all right, and land, all right? Woe, Micah 2 and verse 1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand, because the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, all right? Not Job 9 and 24, right? And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, behold, against this family. So the Lord pointing out the family, okay? It's a family, all right? Okay? And it's the family of the Edomites. Do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go heartily, for this time is evil. And that's the reason why judgment is coming, all right? And Armageddon for Esau, Edom, and all right? And Babylon the Great, okay? And all the nations in which they dwell. Okay, the Lord is going to root them out of power. Okay, they're going to be cast out. The devil will be cast out, just as it says in Revelation chapter 12. Okay, all right. So let me go to the next scripture here. All right. So yeah, the reason why they went over to Nigeria and they killed a lot of people wasn't to save Christians. It's for resources. That's the reason why they went over there. It's always about resources. They don't care about Christianity. All right? The pastor just told you that. It's never been a Christian nation. Never. You understand? Okay? Not for Esau, Edom, and these elites. They're about conquering and taking people's resources. That's what they do. Okay? All right, let's go to Psalms 50 and 16. Psalms 50 and 16. And it reads, But unto the wicked, the Most High said, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Okay, the Lord is saying they shouldn't even be holding the Bible. Okay, verse 17, Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue framest deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. All right. And the brother of Esau is Jacob. Right? Right? That's what it's talking about. Verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And that's what's happening with the camps. The Lord is setting Jacob in order before the eyes of Babylon the Great, you Babylonians out there, all right? You Christians. In front of your eyes, the truth has been declared in the earth, okay? All right, through the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, all right, and the Latin tribes, Hispanics, okay? All right, let's go here let's go to Isaiah 55. This is what the Lord has to say about Esau, how he would be. Okay, I think it's Psalm 50. Might be Psalms. Let's see, Psalms 55 and 21. We'll go to 19. All right. It says 19. The Most High shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not the Most High. Let me just go ahead and read that in the scriptures here, so you can see it yourself. Let's go to Psalms 55 and verses 19. The Most High shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not the Most High. They don't change, all right? The Edomites do not change, all right? He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. How many treaties did he break with the Native Americans, the so-called white man, all right? Verse 21, all right? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. That's our commander in chief, right? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Okay? And that's how they are. That's their MO. All right? That's the reason why they named the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Okay, at this time. All right? All right. So let's go to Psalms 58 and 1. We'll go to we'll go to 58:1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Yea, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. Okay, let me read that again. Ye in your heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked, all right, it's talking about Esau, Edom, are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth the ear, which will not hearken to the voice of the charmers, charming never so wisely, and that's the men of the Lord. All right, and this King David says, break their teeth, O Most High, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. And he's talking about their military. Let them melt away as waters which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces. All right. That's how King David felt about Esau, Edom. Okay. All right. Let's go to Psalms 83, which points them out directly. Hold on. Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. King David, a Psalm of Asaph, is telling you that you have enemies. All right. They're the ones who caused us, once we fell, to keep us down. Okay. Never tell us that we were Israelites. All right. It was only through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that the men of the Lord were risen back up to tell you. Okay. Because these other nations will not tell you, and they know. Okay. They know. They were in on it. All right. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, verse 3, and consulted against thy hidden ones. We were once hidden. Okay. We were hidden because we didn't know who we were. Okay. All right. And that's the reason why they called us Afro-American, African-American, colored. What's the other one? Different titles. Okay. To other, but when we say we're Israelite, then it's like, oh, no, you can't be an Israelite. You see what I'm saying? You can be anything else, though. You see? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. This is the confederation of nations that decided to cut off Israel, the Israelites. You understand? All right. The tabernacles of Edom, the so-called white man, is number one. All right. Then the other nations behind it. I just wanted to point that out. Okay. So they're not a Christian nation. All right. All right. They're not for the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Okay. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7. And what is that? Matthew chapter 7. Is that 13, I think? It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. All right. So when you look at the straight gate is a place of difficulty. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult. That's what it means by straits. You're going to be in straits. Great tribulations, we're going to be in straits. Okay. That's what the Lord is saying. Enter ye in as a straight gate. It'll be difficult path. All right. It wouldn't be easy. For wide is the gate. Listen up, Christians. Wide is the gate, and broad is the way. All right. That wide, broad way is Christianity. All right. You have what they got 20 billion more or more than that in the organization. That's wide. And broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat. You see that? All right. Because straight is the gate. It's tough. It's narrow. All right. All right. Okay. Straight is the gate. Our doctrine that we have is a controversial doctrine. Most people don't want to accept it. That the children of Israel are the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Hispanics. They don't want to accept it. They believe that all men gonna be saved. All right. All right. But every last one of those men gonna be Israelites. Okay. That's the word of the Lord. Okay. It's gonna be a seed line. But they try to change it, and they try to, they don't want to mention the Israelites in their doctrine. And for it, by not telling their congregations, the Lord is going to destroy them for that. All right. Let's go here to Revelation chapter, I think it's 22. It says 22 and 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words, okay, all right, you're saying that, oh, the Israelites, they no longer exist, when the Bible clearly tells you they exist. The Lord is turned to the other nations. The Lord never said that, okay? He never said that, all right? He turned into the Gentile Israelites, the ones who are Gentile foreigners. That's who he turned to, all right? When he was speaking about the Greeks, to be neither Jew nor Greek, he was speaking about the Greek-speaking Israelites that were in captivity, in the Grecian captivity. That's what he was talking about. That's who Paul came to talk to. Just like today, all right, we go to the Americans. We came over here. A lot of us came over here from West Africa. All right, we became Americans. So we go speak to the Americans, okay, because they're Gentiles until coming into this truth. If you can understand that, Gentile foreigners. The natural Gentiles, they're not gonna they're gonna be servants of the Israelites. That's basically it. They're gonna be serving the Israelites. I don't know why y'all can't get that through your head. So when you omit and you don't tell people that there are descendants of Israelites, and you say, no, it's just everybody, that means you're omitting what the scriptures is saying. And what does it say about that? And if any man shall take away from the words of this book, the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city. You're going to be destroyed if you're an Israelite. In other words, he's going to leave you here and allow you to just be melted, all right, along with the heathen, all right, when judgment day come, all right, when the Lord, when they launch them missiles from the end of the earth, all right, nuclear war, he's just going to leave, the angels just going to leave you here and melt you, all right. that's Ezekiel 22:18. You can go and read it yourself, all right. Right, the elect will be taken up out of the way, all right. If you don't already understand that, they're going to be taken up out of the way. All right, I'll go ahead and get that real quick. Matthew chapter, yeah, it's Matthew 24:31. And the I get straight to the point. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, because they were scattered from one end to the other. You understand? All right. All right. Deuteronomy 28 verses 64. They were scattered. Okay. And then when you go to Isaiah, I think Isaiah 11:11 tells you also about the Lord's who he's going to deliver. Okay. All right. So, yeah, they're going to be taken up out of the way. But for all you all who are saying that the Israelites are done away with, the scriptures always prove you wrong. Okay. Even Paul, Romans 11:1. I say then, has the Most High cast away his people? Most High forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. The Most High had not cast away his people, which he foreknew. All right. The descendants. Okay. What ye not, what the scripture says of LIARS, how he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so, then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. You see that? So the Lord has preserved a remnant, all right, of Israelites. You see that? And he tells you clearly in Romans 9:3 that the Israelites still exist. That's who's going to get the blessing. Romans 9:3, I could wish that myself were accursed from the Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom is concerning the flesh the Hamashiach came, who is over all, Most High blessed forever. Amen. So that just lets you know, all right? But I'll part with this one last scripture here, Deuteronomy 32:29. Deuteronomy 32:39. I thought it was 32. Yeah, here it is. I think this is it here. Yeah, this is it here. This is the end of the lesson right here. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people, saved by the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies, this is the point, and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. All right. So they're going to be found to be liars. All right. Shalom.